All right, Pot of Gold, welcome back. No intern in the building, so should be a smooth sailing podcast for all the listeners out there. I'm Brett. I'm here as always with Mike. Mike, what's up?
Keelan Moses, that's what's up. Fresh off the commitment of the 2025
We did it.
top linebacker in the state. Yes, it is Dylan Moses' younger brother, and he did post. He wanted to shock the world, and honestly, getting a U High kid that's a top player in the country, that does shock the world when he goes to LSU. So very excited that we're on the receiving end of the shock.
Let it be known that this podcast never said a bad word about the Moses family or anything like that. It just don't no need to even search Twitter for these things.
Javante is a saint. Maybe we get the return of Javante on Tiger Droppings. We'll see.
Um, yeah, hit us up on Twitter at pot of gold, at goldmike, potofgold@gmail.com. I don't know where you want to start, Mike.
There's a lot, dude. There's a lot to talk about. Lots going on. Obviously, 2 minutes ago, we have a commitment from Keelan Moses. We just kind of led the show with that.
The A&M game feels like a month ago.
And that's what I was going to say. Like the top of the show notes here obviously have to go into, where we left off. And the last time we hung out and chatted and potted was in preparation for A&M. We beat them, right? We finished the season on a high note. I don't remember the struggles of that game. All I remember now is that Jaden Daniels did not lose the Heisman for himself against A&M. He did the best he could. He had a great game. Malik Neighbors is a dog. Kyron Lacey cried, and we'll get into that. But with that being said, it was a hell of a way to finish the season, regular season with 9 wins, and you cap off against A&M, who just, they live in the world of their own. They're assholes. They just fired their coach, and they had a long search, and we needed to stomp on them, dude. We couldn't let them have any type of giggly life at the end of the season at our expense, and we took care of business as we were supposed to. Defense looked awful.
I mean, dude, just hit that. We should have put that on the soundboard for the season so we didn't have to waste time talking about it. Yeah, I mean, dude, it was a tough go. There was one point where Texas A&M had the ball for what felt like an entire quarter, and you're like, is this how it's going to happen? Is Jaden Daniels going to have 180 yards and like we're going to lose the Heisman and lose? And I mean, I think the game turned on that 4th down where he took off and almost scored, which still surprised he got caught. But
yeah, I don't remember the game.
Yeah, it definitely is a blur. It definitely feels like a blur, and it's also nice because LSU has had that ability to kind of make you forget. It's like we'll get a couple scores late and be like, oh yeah, we were in control of that game, when in reality it was probably a little closer.
A couple things from the game I definitely want to mention. The passion from Malik Neighbors to want, in all his fortitude, to get the records at wide receiver at LSU across the board. Not only receiving records, right, amount of receptions, but he wants the yardage record. He wants the big boy, and he's doing he is elite. He is an incredible wide receiver. I cannot wait to watch him get drafted in the 1st round. It's going to be sick. We're witnessing, Jaden Daniels is incredible, man. And everyone knows that, but Malik Neighbors, dude, any other season where it wasn't all about our quarterback, Malik Neighbors would be up there as the greatest receiver in LSU history. And we're watching that. Every time he touches the ball, it's exciting. He's making great catches. It's almost like we don't have enough time to fully watch how great he could be, because every time he touches the ball, it's a great play. So with all that being said, he finished on a high note, and he did turn the corner, and Kyron Lacey had a hold, and it sprung Malik to get the yardage necessary for the record. And at the end of the day, Lacey was crying about it after the game, and he felt bad after he, scored a touchdown. But dude, that he was dead in the water, out of bounds if you don't hold.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't. Come on.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna be a touchdown. The thing I like about Malik Neighbors, throw out whatever stats. Like, the dude is a really good leader for the program, and like watching how much he cared and tearing up as his last game in Tiger Stadium, watching how much Kyron Lacy was upset. Dude caught a nasty touchdown and like didn't care at all. And like that shows me that the message is working. Like what the staff, Brian Kelly and crew are trying to like instill with the culture of this team, it's working. And like hopefully
Mhm.
it trickles down. Like if all these dudes are looking up to Malik Neighbors and like, yeah, I don't know if we said this on the pod or in the text, but it's like if you're Garrett Nussmeier, you know what it takes. Like you're seeing
Yeah.
it. Your ass better be in there trying to get people to work out with you at 5:30 in the morning. But
Mhm.
like you're seeing it come along. Obviously, the defense is a big old question mark. I'm shocked that there's been no news.
We'll get to that. That's
Time
gonna
for
be the beef of our podcast is gonna be talking about coaching changes. So we'll get there.
it's just, Malik Neighbors, I'm extremely happy for his success and everything, but it's like that's the dude that you need to be that first generation of those Kelly guys that kind of pass down what the program's going to look like in the next 5 years.
It was also evident that, you know, Logan Diggs is a huge part of this offense.
Yeah.
And being able to run the football at will and then all of a sudden being like, all right, we're gonna hand the ball off here. It's truly a wasted down at this point against an elite defensive tackle.
Credit to Texas A&M's front. Like
That's
they
elite.
were
That's elite.
good.
That is their 2022 recruiting class, coming to fruition. That's where they, put in their efforts with their NIL deals, was getting the top D tackles across the board. And we're not just talking one or two, we're talking like three deep of the top D tackles in the nation. And then they're still doing it by plucking Relaford and Dominic McKinley out of Acadiana. It's like it doesn't matter where they
Indiana
are.
Rams.
It doesn't matter where they are. They're going to go play for Elijah Robinson, and they're going to get paid. So it's a problem, right? And one that we're going to dive into a little bit later when it comes to Elko's staff and how that looks for us. But credit to LSU's offensive line for not making that elite front seven the difference in the game, and we didn't
Yeah.
allow that to happen, and we won. And so it would have been nice to have Diggs back there toting the rock. Absolutely, I think it would have been over a lot sooner. But it also makes me feel like there's a possibility Logan Diggs comes back, and that's
Yeah.
another topic. Again, it's a long discussion that's going to be had about potential players that could come back for eligibility purposes and not go into the draft yet. And I'm never one to like. Obviously, in this day and age, it's like you got to do what's best for you. And there's really across the board. I wouldn't blame any of them for trying to get paid, but there are cases to be made of, dude, look what Jaden Daniels just did, right? Like you put in one more year of time, stay healthy, like you could see upwards of a $20 million difference here, and that's a lot of money for these kids. It's a lot of money for everybody. Anyway, Twitter code. You want to go into some Twitter code? Or are we still on the game?
No,
I feel like there's so much to talk about other than this A&M game.
Yeah, no, the only thing I had about the game is it kind of hit me in the group chat, like as that game was going on, and I said, like, this is about as bad as you can hope, Jaden. If you're a defensive coordinator and you've been watching Jaden all week leading up to this game, like he played about as bad as you could like hope for him to play in this game, and LSU still put up 42 points on a pretty good defense, and he was still the best player in the country. It was just one of those things that because it happened so quick, because we went from like last year really thinking like, well, we've given up another year, like this dude's not elite enough to like see that transition so quickly and for it to be done. Like we're done. Like college football's over. And it's crazy that it happened so fast. It sucks that
over for us.
Not for Bama.
I'm sorry I cut you off, dude.
No, I was just gonna ramble to say like it sucks that it's like we hardly knew you, Jaden. Like
and he'll be on the walls in that locker room forever. I mean, like that's the type of impact he had. And it was so brief, very sudden, but man, what a lasting impression. And honestly, I hope it sets a precedent moving forward. about
Yeah,
what
no, for
the
sure.
expectations at quarterback at LSU are. And I think, Joe Burrow obviously had his season. But there's an asterisk next to that season when it comes to defining a decade of LSU football, right? It's an anomaly. It's not
Yeah.
an asterisk. It's an anomaly. That happened, but let's not lose sight of what happened the year before and every year after until this past season, right? So,
Yeah.
I think Jaden changing that culture, if he can pull off this Heisman Trophy, which honestly, if Washington can beat Oregon, it's easily Jaden's. But at this point, the betting odds are in the favor of Bo Nix, so that would suck. But if he wins this, even if he doesn't win this Heisman Trophy, he's taken college football by storm. I mean, we started this football season with, and everything with football, with college football, it's a Disney movie, dude. It's owned by Disney. Everything is production.
Don't
And
tell Elon that.
the first, yeah, go fuck yourself, dude. Um, if you look at it from like episodes, episode one was Dion in Colorado, right? I mean, like that was the earlier in this season. It was just
Sportsman of the Year, Sports Illustrated Man of the Year, Mike.
yeah, but you close the regular season chapter with it being dominated by Jaden Daniels. Really, the story of college football towards the end of the season, overshadowing really the playoffs. And I know obviously that'll take over starting next week. But with that being said, up to this point, Jaden Daniels has made his mark on the nation. He's made his mark in history. And I hope that he can make his mark on this offensive recruiting style at LSU for years to come.
He got us Moses.
He got us Moses. Staying on, I guess honestly, staff changes is really the biggest topic. I don't know if we're going to be able to get through everything here. So staff changes is shit, man. I expected Matt House to be fired Sunday. Right.
I let us get to lunch. Like, hey guys, enjoy the night with your family. Come in Sunday. Your badge will still work for a few hours. We'll kind of talk this through, sign some papers, and we'll get a little bonnet message at about 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
Yeah. So there's many ways to look at this. And like, that's what's crazy about it is the obvious case staring at us in the face is is House staying, right? And it's clearly obvious, right? And we're just kind of like, no, it's not. It's week one of the offseason. Like, we're taking care of players first, and then we're going to get into evaluations on the coaching staff next week. It's like, but is time not of the essence with this hire for recruiting purposes?
I'm fully in the camp that Matt House is your guy next year. I think they clean house across the board. Still waiting word from our close personal friend Jimmy Details about the Corey Raymond situation, but I'm fully expecting Matt House to be the defensive coordinator at this point.
I'm not there yet.
Oh, it sucks. I don't want anyone here with me.
I know it sucks, and it's the same situation of me really fucking dying on a hill for Brian Kelly right now. Like, people are after me about being like, well, what do you think about this with Brian Kelly? It's like, guys, it's year 2, man. Like, I'm all for this at the end of year 3, and there's still some bullshit lingering.
So what are we gonna do? Pick up Mark Stoops next year?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, I get I'm gonna look like a fucking sympathizer, but I just want to give the guy a shot. I want to trust this and enjoy what I'm watching. And I know it's awful on defense, but I have faith and trust that this will change. There will be changes. And I thought that starts with a defensive coordinator. Maybe it's not that simple. Maybe it's not just, okay, fire Matt House, because that should have been done after the Ole Miss game. If it was that obvious. And that's where the weirdness of this process, looking at who's on our coaching staff, let's say it was evident, we need to get rid of Matt House right now, clean house, and we're going to put an interim in. All of us, myself included, it's okay, who the fuck are you going to promote? Kerry Cooks?
Pete Jenkins.
We don't have anybody. Steeples is a bum, apparently, and we'll get into Twitter code breaking here shortly. But who are we going to put up there? But then I start looking at it, it's like Bob Diaco was Brian Kelly's defensive coordinator at Notre Dame for like 3 years. He won the Broyles Award. Like, if we didn't, like, not the Biletnikoff, but the Broyles.
He almost won the Biletnikoff, but like, you're down bad when we're like, I wish Bob Diaco was running the show. Like, that's what really made me laugh. Is like, we're in a rough spot if we're like banging the table for Bob Diaco.
I'm not banging the table. I'm not banging the table. I'm just saying, like, this was the worst defense we've ever seen. I mean, dude, you can make a case for this is the worst defense college football has ever seen. That's how I feel about it.
Mike, we did start running a cover 2 trail.
Right. And that's another weird layer to it. It's like, it's obvious that someone had to jump in and be like, all right, fuck you. Like, we're going to change shit up. And this is going to be me making changes. Is that Brian Kelly making changes? Is that him being like, hey, Matt, I don't want to fire you, but the pressure is so hot here in Baton Rouge. This ain't like Notre Dame where like I can fucking say some shit and they'll be quiet. Like, it's going to be some heat. So like, you're writing this out on your own. So if we're about to lose a game, like, I'm not saving you. You're going to you're going to be the clear scapegoat here. So, and I feel like that's what happened all the way until it's like, hey, we can't fucking lose to A&M. We're going to drop to this fucking coverage and we're just going to win this game. It's like that's another layer.
I wish I had like 5 minutes with Brian Kelly to be like, look, man, here's the shit we got to stop saying in these press conferences. Like, we can't be talking about should have done a QB spy.
Yeah.
We can't just be like,
but is that him calling out his coordinator?
We played cover 2 man and it worked. And it's like, well, what motherfucker? We've been giving up 100 points every week. Like,
right. And so that's my point is like, you knew you needed to make a change and you knew you needed some help somewhere. We never heard once about this Diaco. Like, it was just like Diaco was just kind of,
it's like an old Western,
just working on his hair, just fucking around with special teams, which does nothing. What are you doing as the special teams coach? Put your hand up. Just put your hand up. That's all I need you to do, because I'm worried about fucking other things. What?
I can't tell you how fucking funny it was to be watching the game and see Clayton catch the ball and take off. I don't think he's hit the fucking floor yet. And I get a text from Mike like, anyone else in the world would have scored a touchdown there.
It looked like he had cement in his feet, dude. Like, it's just a clear punt return ready for a touchdown. The stadium standing, everyone sees it, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. We've got Clayton back there. He might get lost.
Oh, it was just so funny. I swear to God, I see him get tackled and like my phone had already buzzed and I looked at it.
I knew it. I knew it by the second he caught the ball. I was like, this is going to look so awful. Like, he's going to have a clear path. He's got so much room and he's not going to, we're not going to for a second think he has a shot. Anyway, but the point is, I think staff changes are afoot. I think there will be staff changes, and I am still in the boat. I think Matt House is gone. And I think Brian Kelly is taking this time and has been to try to help place this dude. I think it's going to be a placement and a replacement all on the same day. It's going to, like, why are we getting fucking commitments from Keelan Moses right now? Why are we getting a last second visit from Relaford, the A&M cat? Didn't come to the A&M game. Didn't make it to campus, doesn't want any part of it. But now all of a sudden, like a week later, hey, I'm going to make an official visit to LSU. It's like, there's a lot of defensive motion happening right now. Is this because they heard House is back? I don't know.
Can't be.
Like, there's got to be something happening here. And is that Corey Raymond? Is there a Corey Raymond situation happening?
I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of Corey Raymond smoke.
Fucking commenter here. I know he's mocking me here, but dude, I'm trying.
I'm in the acceptance phase of like, big changes are coming. We're gonna Womack, fucking Whit Weeks is actually gonna play.
Weeks, Womack, Perkins is back.
Perkins is gonna be the best player in the country again. Like,
Wingo's coming back. Mason Smith is going to be Mason Smith.
Dude, 12 months at this was a warm-up season, okay? You had to get the body right, had to get the knee back. And it's like
Wiggins is finally recovered from his scooter accident. Like, we're good to go.
Oh man, it feels like it's been too long. Like, is Matt House just showing up for fucking work every day?
No, I don't believe so. I think we would have heard that. I feel like that would have been the evidence, but that's not like like if somebody wanted to run the story that Matt House is staying on staff, they'd be like, yeah, he was at the office breaking down film of fucking Notre Dame for the bowl game. It's like, we don't hear any of that. We don't hear him recruiting right now. Like nothing, like there is just no sites. If there was a site, wouldn't you run with that? Like if you and me saw Matt House like breaking down film, I'd be like, the dude's not getting fired. Like it's about to be December.
You want me to DM the Jimmy Shea group again and ask
no,
he's watching film?
No. We got to be careful. I think we've exceeded our limit for the
Raymond or nah?
Yeah. So what does that mean? Are we getting fucking Raymond? I think we are.
I think so. I've been as far away from like Brian Kelly's on the hot seat as humanly possible. But if you're just gonna run this back, then it's like, well, you're kind of starting to stake your job on Matt House. Like if you want to fire him and say, guys, we crushed it with Denbrock. We crushed it with whatever the fuck the quarterback's coach name is. Hankton's is a dog. I made a mistake on defense. We're starting anew. Then all of a sudden you're like, hey man, we'll give you another two-year window here. But like, if you're fully on board with running this back, it better fucking work. Because that kind of shit doesn't, like, imagine if we would have just ran Bo Pelini back and be like, guys, it was COVID. Like, Bo Pelini's Bo Pelini. And then we went and did the same shit. Like, granted, he was fired anyway, but it's like all hell would have broken loose.
Now, at the same token, if he brings House back and gets a fucking stellar D-line coach that recruits and brings dudes in, gets Corey Raymond back, fucking beefs up some JUCO portal dudes. All of a sudden, Matt House is running his scheme like he did successfully last season, and he fucking crushes it. Brian Kelly's going to sit back and be like, go fuck yourself. And that's and at that point, we're never going to be able to fucking do anything.
And he's kind of been right. Like every time he's done this, whether it be Nussmeier and Daniels, or I don't know, there's I feel like there's another one that he was just like, guys, not ready, not happening, and it like worked out.
Oh, you're talking about just like,
I'm just saying Brian Kelly's been a couple times been like
he knows what he might like know what he's talking about. Like, let's just let this thing play out.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but God, dude, like the worst defense we've ever seen at this school's history, and the dude's just like breaking down film already for next year. It's like, we're just going to run it back. We're just going to do this all over again.
We should have asked if House was at the Moses announcement and saved Raymond or not for tomorrow.
If House was at the Moses, like if House was our DC, he should be at the fucking Moses announcement, right? If Matt House showed up to the fucking Moses announcement and he like doesn't have a job with us, like, dude, good for him. He's trying.
Gotta respect it.
But he's not. He's not recruiting. He's not doing anything. He's not doing anything. There's no way. There's no way. Now, Kelly, okay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say,
for a second.
I did message you yesterday that the thought of like Brad Davis, Frank Wilson, Corey Raymond, Hankton's just gobbling up the recruiting trail, it makes me feel things.
Yeah, no, it moves. It moves the uterus. But like, I don't, dude, there's just something missing about, like, I really want to just trust a defensive coordinator. Like, I think that would be so awesome to just have a dude fucking manning that sideline like a maniac, just going up and down, fucking paper shaking, just fucking dialing shit up, dude, really involved. I don't know who the fuck Matt House is. Like
Yeah.
he just sits up in his little fucking corner and bitches. And like, what are we doing? Like, do something, dude. Try something.
Literally the only thing we have of Matt House is when ESPN showed us before the Florida State game, him talking with Brian Kelly, like, our guys like this type of stuff. And Brian was like, I guess so. What the fuck are you even talking about? And that was like it. That's the
Yeah.
only thing we've
He's
had
like,
from
yeah,
Matt House
we did
since
pretty
his
well
introductory
last
press
year.
conference.
We did pretty well last year on the road, I think. I think so.
But that's it. And we got the one gif of him like getting mad about it. Who is he paying to have not gotten the Polian Cam treatment this year?
Sure. No, I agree. But at the, we have
Polian,
another,
the
we have
cameramen
another,
were on his ass, and Matt House
well,
is
he
giving
wore
him
a yellow
touchdown
hat.
after touchdown. That is true. The yellow hat's a terrible look if you're the clown.
Yeah. Like the only guy with the yellow hat. It's like, that's the guy the message boards are talking about. Like, all right, let's just lock in. But who the fuck is Mike Denbrock, dude? Like, that is an all-time interview. If you can just fucking lock Denbrock down and be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what you just didn't want to be a head coach? Like, are you good? Like you can't figure it out. You're just like, is this just like the sneaky best hire we've ever done? Where
Does
like
our
this,
offense suck, and is Jaden just that good?
well,
And
is
Malik
that
Neighbors and Brian Thomas catches everything.
But like, if you look at, you get lost in this whole, at least I do, I'll just say this. I spent like 3 hours researching Broyles finalists after the, oh God, I think it was after the Bama game, after the Bama loss. Cause I was like, all right, we're replacing House. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, as if like it's my decision to make. Right. And so like, I'm fucking sitting at my table, like just going deep, man. And you start looking at names and looking at the success years later, these guys that were nominated, and it's like, oh, you could tell, like you can kind of pinpoint where the next fucking crop of dudes are going to come from. And like Denbrock's all over that place. And like, here he is again, fucking, he's back there for a finalist amongst 3 other guys. Yeah, he had Jaden Daniels, but he also, had the cat at Cincinnati,
Yeah.
and I mean, like
Ritter.
Desmond Ritter. And I know that's not elite company, but like at the same time, LSU's been starving for a fucking OC to kind of just park it. And I think we got that.
And we can, the DMs happen sometime, and like I kind of feel it too sometimes, where you're like, I don't know that we're doing anything like super crazy on offense, but also this is all we've ever asked for, was to have an offensive scheme that just gets the Ruben Randalls, the Terrace Marshalls, all these sick athletes that roll through LSU. Just get them the ball and let them do what Malik Neighbors does and just burn everyone once he catches it.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that when it comes to what we saw, the development of Jaden Daniels personally. Yeah. It was like, okay, obviously a next gear was kicked in with him physically, but he obviously was coached into that by a gradual process and development of like, okay, you need to start taking the shots now. They're open. Like there's more to this offense available. Here's how you get there. And like we were obviously grateful to be able to witness that. And I think Mike Denbrock has a lot to say about it. It's kind of a joke though. I'm kind of kidding because it's like Mike Denbrock's this old fucking white dude from Cincinnati. Like he's never been a head coach. It was kind of like oh my God, we should have brought back Joe Brady. Like who's this fucking clown that we got? And he's just silently a finalist for the Broyles. And it's just part of that's just funny to me because we don't know anything about this dude. He's not on interviews. He doesn't like on LSU Gold. You might see him talk a little bit, but it's a very like, oh, that dude's had a few beers and he just wants to say like a few words and get out of here and drink some more. Like, I don't know who he is. And I'd love to talk to him. That's all I'm saying.
Do you want to talk about guys in the transfer portal or should we just,
I think the coaching rumors has a lot to do with these Twitter fucking codes that are being put out, right? First, and I didn't send you this one, but I think most people have seen it in the past week. Mekhi Wingo had a picture of himself and the boys after a sack with a guitar. Okay, so we have a guitar emoji.
Acoustic? Electric? Oh, emoji.
Electric. It was a red electric guitar emoji.
Ole Miss?
So no, my thought is band back together or last song.
You
You
never
know,
know.
what does that mean? Was that the last song? Or is this getting the band back together? I am definitely, I've got the glasses on today. I'm siding with band back together. So then the next one we have is Sage Ryan. The rabbit got the gun now. He's got the gun now. Obviously, he doesn't have a personal life, and this is 100% to do with a coaching search, right? So,
100%.
like, they don't tweet unless there's fucking football news. And by they, I'm talking about football players on the team. So Sage Ryan puts out the rabbit got the gun now. What does that mean? So if you think about it, there's the imagery here. Somebody's been hunting Sage Ryan. Someone's been hounding his ass, and now he has the power. Now he's going to turn it around and be the huntee, right? He's the hunter. So does that mean Steeples is under the gun? Uniquely, Jordan Allen comes back and retweets the original tweet of the rabbit having the gun now with a cardboard box, like a moving box, taped up. And it's very important to notice that it's already taped up. It's not being packed. You're muted, Brett. It's not being packed. It's not in the process. It's packed up. It's taped up box. Someone's gone. Is this Steeples now? Has been taken out. Sage Ryan took him out, and he's packed up and he's getting shipped out.
Yeah, that's the only way to infer these tweets. Like, there's just no other way to look at these and be like, "Oh yeah, Matt House is staying." But it's like also at the same time,
Oh,
like,
whoa. So you're on a Matt. I think this is Steeples Raymond. This is
yeah, that makes sense.
DB's. This is Steeples Raymond, or those are both safeties. Is this? Well, I guess Sage moved to corner. Is this like a Kerry Cooks is
Yeah.
out? You know,
No, you're
I
right.
think it's a DB thing.
I just feel like well, these tweets were a day ago. It's just crazy to me that stuff doesn't like we haven't heard anything yet.
And now today, about 2 hours ago, Jordan Allen comes back with the eye emojis. And now we all know the eye emoji is the holy grail of emoji, right? That is who else you got in that chat there? Shit.
No, don't be looking at my chat. Don't be looking at who we're DMing with.
So he's home. Obviously, he's in Broussard, right? He's home, his location. So he's chilling. He's at home with the fam, and he puts out an eye emoji a day later after packing boxes. And this is before Moses. This has nothing to do with Moses. So is eye emoji Corey Raymond? Is that Steeples is out of here? But like, man, the strong will and the commitment for these guys to be like, yeah, I heard so and so's out, like to not run with that and to just put like an eye. You know, you got to feel like one of these kids, one of them is going to be like, I think people would like to know this. Like this would be, I don't know, that's strong will.
At some point in time, we're going to have players breaking news on Twitter, like breaking siren emojis, and it's gonna be hilarious. Like, dude,
And then
all of
they're
a
going to get
sudden,
kicked off the team.
I saw a Florida dude being like, "Oh, y'all thought I was in the transfer portal? Imma run it back," and, like, had a video made. It's like, so you're making a video saying I almost, like, left?
Yeah.
Like, we're getting into crazy town here.
It's Cam Jackson. Cam Jackson from Haynesville, Louisiana. Would have loved to have had him at defensive tackle this year. We'll see what these tweets mean. The reason I think Brian Kelly said it, and he said it on the Feinbaum show as well. There's going to be like a 10-day window where players and coaches are going to be evaluated for next season, right? I think he mentioned players for first, and we saw Goodwin hit the portal. We saw Corman, Storm, and Norman hit the portal, right? We haven't seen a mass exodus like a lot of people were worried about. Now, I think there's
Hand up, I completely forgot about Amari Goodwin.
yeah, I mean, good runs.
Like, as soon as
His days
Diggs
were
came
numbered.
in,
Yeah.
it was like tunnel vision. I'm going to bitch every time Josh Williams is on the field.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then you had the emergence of Cam Jackson, Caleb Jackson
Caleb
coming in,
Jackson.
being like, okay, this is obviously the next dude. Trey Holly busts a big run at the end of the season.
Noah
Um,
Cain's probably somehow still gonna be around for a few years.
Noah Cain's out. He's out of eligibility. John Emery's out of eligibility. Um, Josh Williams, one more year, COVID year. We'll see what happens there. But I think everyone knows my feelings on that.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can move him over to the defensive side of the ball, help House out.
Um, I don't know, man. There's a lot. There's a lot to talk about here.
Mark
Elko.
Stoops.
Yeah, I think we have to start this segment by really. I mean, for me personally, and I don't want to speak for you here, but like, there's nobody I feel worse for as a coach than Mark Stoops. He is just the scapegoat of let's run this out here. Let's see if we can get away with it. And if not, like fuck him, he sucks. Like, never mind.
He's the best coach in America that nobody wants.
Yeah. It's like, let's check the boxes here. We've got our dude, but this is not going to sit well. But maybe we can float it. Maybe we're wrong. And it's never like LSU revolted. Like there was a point, like we had this fucking scare before Brian Kelly. It was like,
We've been there, brother.
yeah, we were
Like,
there.
one of my most vivid memories is of the pod is us showing up to the studio. Shout out Zombie Bob. I know you're listening. Shout out Camp. I know, I definitely know you're listening. But walking in and just about to be in tears that Mark Stoops, it had to be Stoops. And we sat there so dejected, and Grant was like, "Whoa, whoa, Brian Kelly." And it just like the zero. And so like I
What
feel
did
like
you just say?
we know what A&M fans were feeling, but
But it happened at like midnight. It was like it wasn't like where we were hit with that news. We were hit with Stoops. We were hit with the Stoops rumors for like a day or two. I
it
think
was
there
the
was like,
Lincoln to USC. Then it was like, well, we lost our dance partner.
yeah, and then it was like, oh, Stoops is getting floated. And then like the next day it was like they're finalizing a deal. It's like, oh wow, like we're gonna have Stoops. Okay, so he had a good defense at one of these years. Like we were trying to convince ourselves that, like, with the resources, you know. But then, yeah, Grant said Brian Kelly, and at that point, it was just like, what the fuck? But we had all night to just like celebrate and figure it out. The Aggies had like 10 p.m. finalizing deal with Stoops,
So good.
and like all night they were just like, fuck no, like the hell he is. And backtracked.
To be fair, I 100,000% believe that you do not. This I'm so big on the screen now. I don't like that. You do not.
Dude, that was
No,
rough.
you're good.
Yeah.
You do not pay. Gonna have to bring up Twitter again if we're gonna do that. You do not pay Jimbo $76 million for Mark Stoops to coach your team. Like, you just don't.
Fuck no.
And I think
No.
LSU's in this spot where it's like we talk about being a great school or, a great job, and 99% of coaches would leave their spot to come here. And like, luckily for us, like it kind of proved out to be true, where the Notre Dame all-time winningest Notre Dame coach decides to show up in the middle of the night. But Texas A&M got the reality that it's like people aren't like banging down your doorstep to come be your head coach. Like, Ryan Day is a fucking pipe dream, buddy.
Yeah.
Dabo is a zero chance like coming. And so I like Elko. I think Elko was like the best hire that they could have made, because I don't think the Ryan Days of the world were like ever an option.
No.
But at the same point, I
if you
think we're
looked
going to run
past-
back what A&M is.
Yeah. If you looked past, I mean, again, it's a Disney movie, right? So we like to like have fun with this. And so we start throwing those big names out. It's like, whoa, can you imagine in what world would A&M like tug, like do, like they did it with Jimbo. Like they did that already. They're not going to do it again. They're not just going to go do it again. But there was part of us that's like, oh, we've seen this. So maybe if it does happen, how crazy would it be if it's Dabo or if fucking I never bought the Ryan Day shit. That was crazy. But they tried. According to the same insider that had all the information, the fucking Lucci guy at A&M, they put out feelers. They called for. Do you hear that static?
No.
It was me. They put out a call to Dabo, and they put out a call today to try to feel out, and they said there was no traction there. It's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's a little Dumb and Dumber. Like, you brought a second pair of gloves?
But, like, they had to put it in there. They gave it a shot.
Yeah. But the thought, so I got home from dinner, and I'm like, guys, is this real? Because the only person I see running with this, like, Mark Stoops stuff is 247. And, like, I know from experience, the Thamels, the Bruce Feldmans immediately start rushing in, like Chris Broussard, being like, no, my sources are actually also confirming this exact same thing.
Yeah.
I just didn't get to Twitter fast enough.
Hey,
Like,
yes.
I almost had it first. And none of that was happening. And I legitimately think, like, everything was getting finalized, and both parties were just like, I think we should walk away from this party.
Yeah. I definitely think Mark Stoops was fucking offered the job, and he took
100%.
the job.
And then it's like arguing with your liberal sister at Thanksgiving. It's like, at some point, we're just gonna have to step away from this table, and like, no one's going home happy.
Yeah, and we're just gonna have to, like, get the same dude, but, like, put some makeup on him a little bit and make him more relevant to this past season.
And then fucking hilarious tweet by Stoops to be like, I thought about it, guys.
Yeah. That's exactly what he said.
We just won the biggest game of my career, and I flirted with that dime. I almost went Hugh Freeze on some ladies.
Yeah, but I'm a big cat. I'm a big cat here.
Once their fans hated my guts, you know what's funny? It's like, I want to know. I wish we could have gotten a quick, like, pulse of, like, how Kentucky fans were feeling, because I doubt Kentucky fans were like, "Fuck Mark Stoops! I can't believe he's leaving." Like, I feel most of them are like, yeah, that's fine. He can roll out, whether that's true or not.
They wanted to have, like, a ceremony and wish him well. Like, they loved him, and they were like, "Thank you. Like, you deserve the next step." Like, they were so appreciative. That's everything I saw about it. But A&M did not take it that way, and they got Mike Elko. To that point, Mike Elko is a good coach. Like, I think he is a good coach. He obviously did wonders at Duke. They're a great squad. I love how they played.
If A&M didn't come out being, or, the insiders, whatever, being like, Lanning's possibly a lock. If Lanning doesn't come, like, Day is itching to get out of the Big 12. And then we got Dabo as a fallback. Like, if we didn't do that shit, and it was like, we really like Elko, Stoops is in the mix, like, I think everyone would be like, great hire, great hire.
Well, like, after that list of delusion that we talked about, it's like, okay, it's either Elko or Traylor, and maybe Kiffin's interested. But it's like, other than that, like, we're not getting any of these top echelon cats. It's either going to be Traylor or Elko, and they'll probably go Elko because he's been there and he's got Duke, running well. So if you really looked at it, just facts and history, you could have called Elko, like, day one. But good for them. It is what it is. Fuck them, actually. Not good for them. I hate A&M. And I really hope, like Damian Craig got fired. That's hilarious. Like,
oh my God. I felt bad how hard I smiled when I saw that come across the timeline.
Yeah, it's like, dude, get out of here. You don't do anything. Get the fuck out of here.
I completely forgot he, like, existed.
Yeah, after he punched our guys.
After he attacked a man with a disease, with Parkinson's.
Yeah, just awful guy. Actively recruiting against us while he's here. Just awful guy. But he's fired. Honestly, dude, a lot of people are starting to float this whole another, like, delusional fairy tale, which is awesome to dive into. Is Elijah Robinson taking a lateral gig and coming to LSU as the D-line coach. It's like, guys, like, they almost made him the head coach. Like, there was, like, they weren't really going to do it, but, like, they were flirting about it. So now he thinks he's a head coach, and so do those kids. you're not gonna bring him in as a D-line coach.
Yeah, well, if Elko turned them down, then that's probably your head coach.
And how
It's a
crazy would that have been?
it's a Ed O situation where it's like you're kinda caught with your pants down, and you kinda just have to send it with the interim at that point.
Jordan Matthews, or is it Jacoby Matthews or Jordan
Jordan
Matthews?
Matthews,
Matthews, the
I think.
Ponchatoula kid that went
Yeah.
to A&M, 5-star safety. Anyway, this cat's sitting there putting out a fucking cry for help, dude. Puts out this massive message about like you have to keep Coach Robinson. And he even like emphasizes, he's like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, not only do you have to bring him back, but he needs to be the head coach. And like he's like, all the players agree. And it's like, okay, so this is how we're gonna do this. Like, there's gonna be a player revolt, and these kids are gonna demand Elijah Robinson. Well, it turns out Elko got the gig. And so then it was floated like, okay, that's fine. He'll make him DC. And it's like, yeah, because he can coordinate a defense all of a sudden, right? And so
'Cause that's what happens.
yeah, it's just like, no, that's just how you progress. It's like, no, like, so anyway, he's bringing the fucking DC from Duke with him.
Of course.
So
He's got his own guys. He doesn't give a fuck who the interim was.
right, exactly. But
His
Robinson
ass is in the jackpot.
but like, look at the D line that they have. Look at the players that Robinson's gotten. Now, NIL's gotten them, but they want to be there
You
under.
still gotta sign, like, close the deal.
They love this cat, right? And so LSU's kind of in this fascination. I say LSU. There's a handful of people that are like, bring this dude in as DC. It's like, yeah, that's what we need. We need to replace Matt House with a dude that's never called a defense, and just, hey, we'll get some players. Like, that's not how this works. But they're like, no, he's flirting with us for the D-line job. It's like, how though? Unless he's that disgruntled. But you would think that type of dude from Pennsylvania, by the way, and a Penn State graduate, like, he's going to go think he can be a DC or a head coach somewhere at a small school up north. Dude's not coming to LSU to coach D-line.
Yeah, we LSU, I guess, got the portal commitment from the former Georgia defensive lineman, whatever. And I saw
Sean Washington.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from like Jimmy Lindsay with like some emoji, and I was like, is this dude still?
Dude, we're about to get a transfer from South Carolina on the D line because he wants to play for Lindsay. It's like, wait. Were you in a coma?
You know, this dude's not been around. Talk about badge access. He lost his badge 6 months ago.
I think Kelly did mention that he's going to keep him as an analyst. Like, he's going to be in like some type of role with the team.
So we've mostly confirmed that we're like actively going to find a new defensive line coach.
Yeah, like he said that, but this was also like a couple weeks ago, and I don't know why that hasn't been like nailed down as like, yeah, we're looking for a D-line coach.
I mean, to be fair to our boy Doug in the chat,
it's true.
USC should have hired Ed Orgeron.
Yeah, they'd be in a much better place.
I don't even remember the guy's name, but like, you didn't get a name.
Helton.
Yes.
Chris
Helton, Chad Helton, Todd Helton, Clay Helton. But like, they should have hired Orgeron.
For sure. A&M.
Every time I see that dude in the chat, I just immediately think Doug Winoy, and I think KB's dad is like in our chat trolling. Like, I can't help it. It's just how my brain works.
But yeah, I think A&M is who A&M is. And everybody that is sitting here, the missing link is just they need a high-profile coach. They need a high-profile coach.
You need a guy who's coached at Duke for a year and a half.
Yeah, it's like you are who you are. It is what it is. They're going to be competitive. They're going to recruit well, but I don't see them winning a national championship. And I don't see Elko raising a trophy. That's just how I feel about it. Hopefully we can get some of their players, but at the end of the day, I think players actually somehow enjoy it there. Obviously, they're getting paid. I don't think it matters who the coach is. We've seen this there. It could be Jimbo Fisher that's washed up, and they're still going to go there because they're getting paid.
The chat's ripping at this point. Helton has a better record than Lincoln Riley.
Yes, he does. Lincoln Riley's he might be burning on both ends here.
He 100% should jump immediately to the NFL. Like,
if he has a chance, which I think he probably still does.
Or it honestly depends on the buyout. Like, if you just want to like get fired by USC and chill by getting paid, sure. But like jump to the NFL, it doesn't matter what happens. You can be Matt Rule part two and not be very good. And
Year
some
one, dude. Rules been there.
no, I'm talking about with the Panthers, like
Oh,
going to the
okay.
NFL,
Okay.
not working out in the NFL. I love Rule at
Don't go on
Nebraska.
Big Red right now.
No. I'm pro him at Nebraska, but like, not have success. A legitimate program is still going to be like, well, we'll take Lincoln Riley. So it's like
Yeah.
he should make the jump. It also blows my mind that like public perception is so anti-Lincoln at this point. I would have never thought we'd be here, even if you told me the records. He was almost made the playoffs last year.
Public opinion changes public perception, and
they lost to Utah twice.
Coaches are the easiest people to just fucking disappear because of public opinion. It's wild. Like Tom Herman. It's crazy. Every year there's like a handful of those coaches that are just like, that's the fucking dude.
Yeah.
And they're just not. They're
he
not
was an OC at Ohio State, Mike.
Transfer portal, there's a lot of shit happening. Of shit happening. You've got Dante Moore, KJ Jefferson, DJU. You're probably going to have Brock Vandergriff in there after fucking Carson Beck comes back. Will Rogers, the K-State quarterback. You're going to have either Malik Murphy or Archie Manning.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. No. That's just like right now, and I'm sure there's more funneling in. Like, there's going to be a serious discussion about the level, not if we take a quarterback in the portal, but like how good of a quarterback are we going to try to take in the portal?
Are we taking a young guy? Are we taking an older dude to maybe bring some experience in?
Because there's some fucking dudes in that portal right now.
How about the Duke quarterback just being like, no pictures, please? Like, I'm in the portal. But also I'm most likely going to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck? Why is Notre Dame catching all these like?
So I read he's a Duke kid. He's got to keep it going.
Yeah, it's like
it's like, hey, I'm still in this like echelon, but like I want to play some ball. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just that was funny to me. No, I can get him leaving, but just like I don't know, it just seems like these dudes are lining up to play quarterback at Notre Dame. Like, where were these guys when Brian Kelly was there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we got Jaden, so that's pretty wild. But no, it's an interesting conversation because obviously we've seen Nussmeier. We know what he can do. We're comfortable with it. And I think that's where we're at. We're going into next season. It's like, we know we're not going to have a Jaden Daniels to bail us out of these games. So like defense has to be fixed.
We just need it not to be like year 6 Miles Brennan. Like, that's what we need.
Right. We need him to fucking be a dog in his own right. Like, he's got to be able to, like, he's got to be a Stetson Bennett. He's got to be a fucking Brock Purdy. He's got to be a dude that's like, you don't expect it, but he hits every time. Like, he's going to fucking win games. And I think Nuss has the potential to be that guy. Even with that being said, let's say Nuss is a dude. Nuss fucking cracks his fucking ankle, pulls an Achilles. Like, we're trotting out fucking Ricky Collins to save our season. Season's done. Ricky Collins might be a good quarterback one day, but like to depend on him immediately after
when you got Matt House on the other side calling defenses.
Yeah, right. And then you got Colin Hurley as his backup, and the kid should still be in high school. He's skipping a year of high school. Like, you're going to need to bring depth in for competition purposes, for depth purposes. But at the same time, you have this whole new world of portal and NIL where you could literally look at your roster and be like, not only for depth, but like, we're going to go ahead and bring KJ Jefferson in for a year and try to run this back.
We might be full of shit and just been playing coy, and Nuss sucks, guys.
Yeah, like we're getting a dude to come in and run this show, and yeah, we'll be fine, and we're going to turn into that. But like, if that's the case, you have to take a dude that's one and done, because you have a chance to get a commitment from Bryce Underwood for 2025.
That's what scares me. It's like, yeah, it would be nice to grab the freshman 5-star from UCLA, but then all of a sudden, does that make Underwood like not want to come to LSU. It's like that's the type of stuff that you kind of just have to build your roster and let the chips fall. But it's like
Bird in the hand.
I would be kind of pissed if we brought this dude in. Nussmeier is good enough to keep the starting job. And then Bryce Underwood just decides to go to Michigan or wherever. And then the UCLA guy's like, I'm out. Nuss is going to be the starter next year. And like all of a sudden now we're sitting there like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think everything kind of lines up well for Bryce Underwood to come to LSU if Nussmeier's your guy,
As
because
long as we don't go get a freshman, sophomore guy in the
right,
portal,
but
100%.
even if you get a dog in the portal, that's a one and done. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, fucking Underwood still has to play a year of high school football. Like he's not going to be here when this dude's here. But then he comes in and it's like, okay, is it Nuss time? Well, even if it is Nuss time, Bryce Underwood's a true freshman. Like they're going to split reps. Like Nuss is not a dude. One, like Underwood's not going to come in and be the day one starter as a freshman at LSU at quarterback week one. No matter,
Maybe.
yeah, is he athletically gifted enough to
On
do
the
it?
road
Sure.
at Clemson.
Yeah,
I
like
think that's
I
actually at
think you're
home.
I think you probably trot out Nussmeier, right? And be like, hey, it's say like Brian Kelly's going to play Nussmeier. Like he's a senior guy. I think all of this to be said, Nuss is not good enough for us to just be like, hey, we're set. We're good.
Right.
Like
Right. We don't
I
have
think
Walker Howard and Ricky
right.
Collins. Like it's like I pulled up Oregon or not Oregon. I pulled up Georgia's roster to make sure that one of these guys was still on the roster, and they had 6 quarterbacks. Like,
Yeah.
granted, one of
Good
them's last
guys.
name is Muschamp, so it's like maybe we have 5 quarterbacks. I'm not really sure, but going into a season with let's call it 1.5 quarterbacks is not an option.
I'll just call it like it is, dude. I'm the biggest Nuss guy there is. But after you get a season of what we just saw from Jaden, if you can run that shit back with another stud that wants to come into LSU and just be a fucking one and done Heisman dude, I'm gonna probably say, come on, buddy. Saddle up, partner.
Yeah, hope you like Mike Denbrock.
Yeah. We're probably gonna play Notre Dame in the bowl game, and I don't like that.
No, I hate that. The worst.
I don't
The
like
good
that. It
thing
does
is
nothing good for us. If we lose, we get fucking trampled.
oh my god.
Trampled.
We really need this to be in like the noon window where like 19 bowl, like the one
And it
day
will
where there's
be.
just a shit ton of bowl games. That's what we need it to be. I don't want it to be the game that like leads into the semifinal
Yeah,
game.
game of the night.
Yeah.
Fucking Brian Kelly gets owned by Marcus Freeman.
The last bowl game before the the college football playoff, and it's like us at night just getting our ass kicked, and Freeman's all jacked up in his quarter zip over there. Brian Kelly's looking doughy because it's Christmas season.
And
Can't happen.
let me just say this: if it's all square, everybody's playing full steam. Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels fucking runs all over Notre Dame, and we're fine. But this like half-ass bowl game where no one gives a shit, it just has Notre Dame victory written all over it.
Yeah, but it does feel good that Neighbors is like, no, no, no. We play in bowl games.
That does make me feel really good
Then it
about the
makes me
bowl
feel
game.
like everyone's gonna be kind of locked in. It's like, well, if this dude who's the highest draft pick, most likely from this team, like if this dude's gonna do it, it would be hilarious if he got like 23 yards and just like unhooked his pads. Like
Yeah.
that would be legitimately like I would respect the fuck out of that if like we threw him the ball twice to try to get the yards and immediately like just chin
Just
strap off like
the whole thing off, takes the shoulder pads off on the field. And just like someone hasn't been
Odell comes out of nowhere with like bricks of cash.
yeah, no, it's like baseball where they run out with and take the glove from the batter and everything. It's just like someone gives him his shit, he puts on a hat, and he just like kind of just chills on the sideline with you.
Starts signing gloves and everything. Like I
But
would
that
respect that, but it's
yeah,
not.
and then we go on to lose, and it's just like, hey, it is what it is. Like I got the record, yeah, but I just don't like the matchup. I don't like how all that's gonna matter is fucking Brian Kelly and Marcus Freeman. Like
Oh yeah,
that's what I don't like about it. Is it's nothing to do with us, nothing to do with the football team. Like it's just gonna be a fucking
a
drama
lot
show
of
about who should have
familiar
stayed.
faces across that sideline for one Brian Kelly. He hired He
Yeah.
hired the
Yeah, and look at the results. They're both in the same bowl game.
they're the exact same. Why would you ever have left Notre Dame to be in the exact same spot?
Right. But here's the thing. I don't think fucking Pretty Boy's going to play in the game either. Like I think this is going to be a Nussmeier versus, Notre Dame's backup.
We're getting to the point, and like I think once the 12-team playoff starts, it is like a full mass exodus of like people giving a fuck what happens in bowl games.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like we're already close to that point. I almost feel like it's swung back a little bit. There was a time where like dudes in the Fiesta Bowl were like, nah, like I'm out. And I feel like we've kind of gone away from that for the most part. But I think once it's like, well, if you're not even in the top 12, then like literally who gives a shit? And I think we're gonna
Well,
start seeing it again.
I think the bowl game is also like a showcase. It's like an exhibition game for transfer portal guys too. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, they check me out one last time. Let me get on some film. Or hey, coach, I'm leaving. I know this shit doesn't matter, but like, can I get some reps to fucking get on film? Like, I feel like obviously not that direct, but like that's what we're gonna get to, where it's just let's see next year's action. And I don't care if we win or lose, but like
It's like a
gonna
spring game against another team.
yeah, it's gonna be dumb. But we're not gonna worry about that because we're gonna be at least fucking top 12.
I
Come
mean,
on.
give
Top
me
12?
8. Sign me up for 8. Let's play Washington as 12 seed in Death Valley.
Surviving Barstool.
Yeah, surviving Barstool, moving to pay-per-view.
That's insane. What a great show too. I've been locked in. It's really well done. It's probably the best like cast and crew in my opinion. It's all my dudes, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's no
KFC.
well, I guess you're right. I guess
Nate.
Nick and KB aren't on there, but it's like this is more of like a kind of an OG type of these
Yeah.
are the guys. I know you
It's
got
like
some mixed bag in there, but like the OGs that I like are all involved.
well, it's like when Survivor and Big Brother have all-star seasons. It's like we brought out everybody for this one.
Never saw any of that. Never watched Big
See,
Brother.
I'm a big Brother fan. I
Is
never
it is
got
it
into
like Survivor or like Amazing Race?
I don't know. I've never watched Amazing Race, never really watched Survivor because I know I would last 47 seconds in the outdoors on my own. I mean, Big Brother is essentially you're locked in a house, no contact from the outside world. They do competitions every week, and like one person chooses 2 people to go up for elimination, and then the house votes somebody out. And round we go. It used to be awesome. Now it sucks. I don't even watch anymore. But like Surviving Barstool, I've watched all of those like Barstool game shows. That's my jam. And it's been great. Tommy's incredible. Like I love Tommy. I hate Tommy normally, but like he's
Yeah, he's made
perfect
for
for these
this.
things.
He's made for this. It's been excellent. Dave's been excellent. I mean, like that's
What do you think about your team?
Bucks.
The
Like
Bucks.
just so ready to answer Bucks. Like so ready for it. That crushed me, dude. I knew that was going to be a good clip the second it happened. Like that's going to have
Oh
to be on.
God. I'm dying. It's been so good. It really sucks.
Are you
Like
going to pay the $10?
I'm gonna feel out the first episode because my guess is someone's just gonna like post it on Reddit or something, and like even if it gets taken down in an hour or two, I'll already be ready. But
Mhm.
like they're kind of getting crushed. I don't care. Like I'll probably end up paying the $10, but like it's kind of shitty to me to just stuff Factor ads down my fucking face all episode and then charge me to watch it. Like that's
Mhm.
kind of where I've gotten to like if we're going ad free here and like Factor's just like, hey, they're sponsoring it, good job. But like I don't know if you've watched any of the other ones, but they used to say Mattress Firm,
Yeah,
mattress,
I watched.
whatever, a billion times. I'm like, I guess because it's free, I can't complain, but like I don't know. It's
But they
shitty.
can't change that now
Just post it on Twitter.
unless they just take out all the parts of them fucking eating the food. Like that's the stupid part.
No, I get it, but like
Yeah, put it on
also
Twitter, put it on X.
also Factor has paid something for this.
Mhm.
So it's like, do you really need to charge everyone $10 now? Like that doesn't make I don't know. Do whatever you want. Big
I think they were
corporate.
banking on it being like a huge fucking revenue for you, like from YouTube.
Then go to Twitter. I don't know. Then blur out I don't know. Who knows what's happening coming up next? But I doubt a
I'll
second time.
probably I'll probably watch it, but I want it all at once. If I'm gonna
I
pay
know,
$10, I want you to fucking pop it down there.
like
Ooh,
Netflix.
yeah, it's like, ooh, we got to fucking shift the grand finale because that's live. It's like, okay, we'll shift it. I don't give a shit that you miss a day of Chicks in the Office. Like, fucking announce it, you know?
But yeah, it has been incredibly good content. Like PFT, Grease in the Wall,
Oh, it's great.
all timer, all timer.
Are
Just
you? So, what's the Severance movie you're watching
it's
or
a
show you're
show
watching?
on Apple TV. Essentially, like the high level explanation of it is like there's this technology that allows you to like sever your, I guess we'll call it personality of like whenever you show up to work, you have no idea like of the outside world. And then when you go down the elevator and clock out, you're like your normal person, go home, spend time with your family. And it's like all about like the inner workings of like the people in there that are just like obviously they're conscious, but they don't have like any memories. They just kind of show up there and they're like, this is what you do. It's
Is there a big overarching plot in all of it that's kind of like, hey, this will be an interesting to find out
Yeah,
something?
it's got a Westworld feel to it where you like you know something's coming. They kind of cliffhanger you like every
Okay,
episode. And it's really, really good.
but it's
Like I
on Apple
knew,
TV.
yeah. I
So,
knew it was I knew it was gonna be good and I just like never watched it. And then it got brought up on the Yak like 3 days ago. And I'm like, you
oh,
know
that's what they
what?
were talking about. Will Compton was mentioning
Yeah, the
it.
sci-fi thing
Oh,
where he had
that's
no idea
right.
what sci-fi meant. But,
Yeah.
like, I had almost watched it so many times, and I was like, "You know what? Like, this is my sign." I've been, like, in an incredible, like, content rut where, like, I just have nothing to watch, and I'm just, like, staring at YouTube, like, I don't wanna watch any of this. So it worked out. I finished it in 2 days, like, immediately.
Nice, nice. I got nothing else.
We're not gonna go through games.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Fuck, dude. Grant not being here, like that threw me off on the games.
Also, how tight. We're at a tight, clean hour here.
It
We wouldn't
was
be anywhere.
very efficient. So I do have last
Oh,
weekend.
yeah, I can go to last week. I forgot about last week. I pulled up,
So the first game that we discussed was obviously the big game, Ohio State at Michigan. Michigan -3 at the time of our recording. Me and Grant both took Ohio State. You switched at the last second and went with Michigan. Michigan ends up covering that spread.
great game. Fun, really fun game to watch.
Clemson at South Carolina. Clemson was favored by 7.5. You and I both took South Carolina. Grant took Clemson, and Clemson. Yeah,
The game played out. I actually I feel like it was even was it 7.5? I thought it was like 9. Well,
we
no,
bet
you're
it.
right.
We bet
It
it at
was 7. But, like, the game played out almost exactly as I thought. I was like, Clemson's not gonna be able to, like, score a ton of points. I just didn't factor in South Carolina literally scoring once the entire game.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it was bad.
that was a tough one.
We all had Oregon -13.5 against Oregon State. Bloodbath. We expected it to kind of end
As
the way it
expected.
ended. Florida State at Florida. Florida State -6.5. Me and Grant had Florida. You had Florida State. What did that one end up? I forgot. What did we? How did that end?
Florida State covered.
Okay,
I think there was that, like, roughing the passer that turned into a touchdown late. Yeah, Florida State won by 9.
gotcha. And then we all had Bama -14. Obviously, we lost that one. I mean, you can't kill the guy. You can't kill the guy.
When they kicked that field goal, it's like, "Welp, guys, it's been fun. Now it feels like the party's over." I missed the punt. I missed the muff punt. I was driving, like, trying to watch the game on the phone.
Coy
It's
Moore, man.
it's dark at, like, 5:15 now, so it's, like,
Awful.
even more difficult to, like, check in on stuff, and I pulled into my parents' driveway to drop my kid off literally as the 4th and 13 or 4th and 30, whatever was happening. I just, like, sat there and watched it on my phone. It's just like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me."
It was crazy. It was crazy. I just fucking closed my eyes and just try to take a nap. I was like, I can't deal with this.
How sick is it to be able to score a touchdown and then just like do the James Bond? Like that's super, super sick.
All right. On to this week. I was 1 for 5. That's rough.
Well, yeah, we weren't as good as we have been, but we kept it afloat. I'm
This
telling
week,
you, dude, as soon as Ohio State left Grant's lips, because I was like, I feel like a lot of people be on Michigan here. I kind of like Ohio State. I'm gonna be the and then as soon as he was like, I like Ohio State, I was like, guys, I we have to do something here. I can't let this happen.
I thought Michigan would win the game, but I thought Ohio State was going to cover. I thought it was going to be a fucking field goal game, something crazy. Um,
Egg
or
Bowl was entertaining for a few minutes.
yeah, Ben Mintz smashing his car into the driveway twice. It was just unbelievable. He's great. I mean, like he's a natural. This week is a very interesting week. It's the championship week, right? So conference showdown. Oregon Washington has a lot at stake here. I have the number at Oregon -10.
Winning,
Uh,
you're in.
Winning, you're in. Win, and you most likely win the Heisman. Bo Nix, if he has a good game and beats Washington, because it's the final thing seen by these Pac-12 voters. Obviously, it's the final thing seen by a lot of people on the fence. I don't like that, but at the end of the day, that I don't agree with it. I'm just saying that's your most likely scenario. This is a fishy. I love Oregon. I love Oregon as a team. I love Oregon. Like I want to see like somebody that doesn't have anything, any skin in the game for the playoffs because my team is not there and I just want to watch some entertaining football. Like I want to see Oregon in the playoffs. I think they're a good team. I love Dan Lanning. I love how they play. I think the defense is great. And I think Bo Nix does enough as a game manager distributing that ball to be dangerous on offense. But Washington has just hummed along. They have just continued to win. And I know they're undefeated right now. And I know Oregon should probably beat them, but there's something about that 10 points. It's just a lot to me. And I feel like Washington's going to be like, oh, yeah, you forgot. Like Penix is a dude. Like we're healthy and we're trying to make the fucking playoffs as well. And so I don't know. I like Washington in the points.
Yeah, the number's so high, it makes me want to take Oregon. That's the problem. Like, if this was 8, then I'd be like, "Oh, maybe Washington," but it just feels like they want me to bet Washington in this
Yeah,
game.
I agree.
Undefeated, won already. Yeah, we can make the argument that, like, since this game, Oregon has looked really good and Washington hasn't. I would play if you made me pick one, I would pick the over. I know we don't normally do overs, and I think I'm gonna run back this same motto with Texas here. I think I'm just gonna lay the number and take Oregon.
Okay.
I think that they're gonna if if
It's,
Oregon has the ability to, they're gonna try to route this thing. Leave no
yeah.
doubt, put us in. We're better than Texas. We're better than Alabama,
Air it
whatever.
out.
This
Pad
game's
the
on
stats for Knicks.
you don't really know what's gonna happen behind you. Like, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope this game is tied with 2 minutes left. Like, I want to watch a great game Friday night. Everyone's asleep, just me and the dog on the couch. Like, I want this to be an awesome game. I'm gonna bet that Oregon's gonna not let that happen for me.
Okay. Oklahoma State, Texas. Texas minus 15.5 here.
It's a large number, so I'm
That's a
gonna take
large.
Texas.
Yeah.
The number's so large, I'm gonna take Texas. Oklahoma State's kinda ass.
Yeah, I like Texas.
Like, BYU definitely should have beat them. I know that doesn't matter. We just watched Auburn lose to New Mexico State and almost beat the King, but I don't know, man. It's like I look at that line and it's like, take these points. Oh, 2-possession game. Like it's no. I'm just gonna I think Oklahoma State's either gonna win or lose by 30. Like there's no Texas winning and Oklahoma State covering in my mind. As crazy as that sounds. It's over 2
Texas
scores.
is going to blow them out. They're trying to make the playoffs, and they're a very good team. And I think Oklahoma State is not. I think they're overhyped. I think Texas is a great team, and they're gonna definitely cover that spread. Definitely. Georgia, Bama, SEC championship. Georgia minus 5.5. That number, I think I've seen it at 6 before.
Yeah, it's moved a little bit today.
I like Georgia here. I think I'm not a believer in Bama. I think against Georgia. I think Georgia is the best team in the country right now. This is the game. This is the game. And you could say the same thing for Bama, that they're playing for everything right now, and Saban's going to put it all out there. But Kirby is as well. Kirby has a chance to do something that no one has ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude's about to win for three seasons in a row. I mean, just at an incredible clip. I think they're the better team. I think Bama has been overachieving. They should have lost to fucking Auburn last week. Like, I think Georgia is gonna win this game. 5.5. I don't think that's big enough. I'll take Georgia.
I mostly agree with everything you said. I can't take Bama here. Like, as a life bet, I have to be putting my full energy into Georgia winning this game. Like,
you can't watch Bama in the playoffs, dude.
No, for my mental health, like to see Bama get into the playoffs, and like, let's be honest, if Bama gets in the playoffs, they're most likely in the national championship game. Like, Bama doesn't lose semifinal games that often. I would be devastated. Literally, not that long ago, Paul Feinbaum is calling malpractice on Tommy Rees for the destruction of the Alabama program, and for them to just like sashay into the playoffs would legitimately like destroy me.
Yeah.
So I got to put everything in my life like towards Georgia here and hope they blow them out. I think it's going to be a good game.
I think it's
like these are one of those teams. These are one of those teams that like they kind of match up well. Like, you know, obviously the protege Kirby. It's like I got the blueprint. I pretty much instilled the same blueprint, and now we're Spider-Man memeing each other. Please, Georgia, just do it. Just steamroll these fuckers. Let them play in the Outback Bowl, and like let's move on.
Yep. No, I agree. I think there's a lot of momentum for Bama right now, and I think a lot of people are kind of forgetting how dominant Georgia has been, and that they are the team right now, and it's not Bama. I think Georgia wins this. Louisville, Florida State. Do
you want to discuss real quick that the first half team total for Iowa is 0.5.
0.5. The first half team total. Oh, you've got to think that they're gonna score.
Are they?
Yeah.
They don't score against Nebraska.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just bullshitting you. I have no idea.
How funny would it be if they got a safety and it was like 17-2 at halftime? No, it's just crazy. It's like one of those things where they keep putting up these totals for these Iowa games at like 25, and it's just mind blowing. But to have like a team total for the half be like, will they somehow score a point, is so funny.
Kirby Smart is not going to get out fucking smarted by fucking Jalen Milroe running. Like the more I'm thinking about it, it's like, dude, it's really not that hard to stop this Bama fucking offense. Like, and if anyone's gonna do it,
hell, LSU did it like twice.
If anyone's gonna fucking do it, it's gonna be that fucking disgusting defense at Georgia, and they're just gonna do their fucking normal disciplined offense, and they're gonna fucking win. Let's stick to that Iowa game. So Michigan is a 22-point favorite. That's insane for a conference championship, but I'm assuming that just means how awful Iowa truly is. Harbaugh's back, and this is their final, like, you know, I don't know what this means because they're in the fucking playoffs. Like, they just need to win the game. They don't need to fucking pounce on them. But 22 points is something that's probably easily done as a spread when you can't fucking score a point on the other side.
It feels like Michigan's going to cover this spread, like, in spite of themselves. Like, it doesn't even matter. They can just, like, continue to run the ball. And, like, Iowa's got a good defense, but, like, it seems hard to find some points for Iowa, and Michigan's good enough that they're going to be able to, like, get in the end zone.
So I've got Michigan.
Yeah, I'll take Michigan. I
So
don't
the
like I
last,
don't like that I've just every minus sign
I
so
know.
far, I've just slapped my name on it.
Well, and we're going to change things up here because you and I have already teased this with each other before we recorded. But the final game is Louisville, Florida State. Florida State minus 1.5. I've got on ESPN. We both talked about how this is like you want to say, no, this is Louisville. Like they're probably going to win this game. They got a backup quarterback at Florida State, whatever. I'm going to throw a curveball in here so we don't pick the same thing. I'm going Louisville here because
We didn't pick the same for Oregon, just so we know. You
yeah,
took
yeah, yeah,
Washington.
no, I know. Just and the last few have been
Grant's vigorously writing in his notepad right now, like
yeah.
Mike took all of Brett's picks.
No, I think this one I would love to take Florida State minus 1.5. I don't want us to all have the same picks. But also I kind of am happy with this crazy flip, and I think I like Louisville plus 1. I think they're going to beat them.
There's a strong part of me that feels like Louisville's gonna win this game, but I like chaos. I would very much like the committee to have to say, "Hey, I know you're undefeated. I know you scheduled a top SEC team out of conference. We don't think you belong." Like that's what I want. The world wants Florida State to lose, and I just think that they're just going to cap off the night and just win it, and just we're going to get a nice little nice little post game press conference or like on the field where it's like, if you don't think this team deserves a shot, and like we're gonna get one of those, and the committee's not gonna give a fuck, and Reese Davis is gonna be trolling at noon on ESPN about like Florida State possibly getting in. Like that's what I need. So give me Florida State.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's probably the lock of the week. Give me Florida State. I can't. I can't. You can't.
Like it can't be.
You can't bet Louisville here.
It can't be so easy that Florida State just sees themselves out of the playoff picture, and it's like, oh, no one had to make a hard decision. Like I I want obviously I don't want Bama to win to even have the opportunity, but like I
Right.
want to see the chaos of them like trying to put Bama over Texas when like Texas legitimately like beat them at their own field. Like I want as much heat on the asses of all these ADs making the decisions as humanly possible.
I agree. And I think that's what we see.
I was scrolling through real quick, and it's just very funny that literally like the highest ticket price is like $45, and then you get to the Bama Georgia game, it's 300. Literally, I think 45 is the most expensive ticket on here outside of, yeah, definitely.
um,
Tulane, Grant would 1,000% be making us pick
well,
this Tulane game, by the
well,
way.
not only that, I think we should do Grant's picks for him.
Okay, dude, I can get into the mind of Grant.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to figure out here. So Oregon, Washington.
He's taking I think
He's
he's
taking
taking
Washington.
Washington. Yeah,
He's been riding Washington all season. He's
it's
not
too
going
many
to.
points.
Yeah, he's not going to flip on them at the last minute.
I think he would take Oklahoma State here.
I do too. Especially if you and I both took Texas.
Yep.
Georgia, Bama. He would want to take Bama because we both took Georgia, but
he's Georgia.
He's a LSU guy. Like he's not taking fucking Bama. He's taking Georgia. Louisville, Florida State. This is interesting because the family
House
connection.
divided.
Yeah.
He's taking Louisville as like a life hedge. Like he wants Louisville to win so badly.
I like that. We both took Florida State. He took Louisville.
After this, we need to text him and tell him if he's not watching live, which he's not in the chat, so he's 100% not watching live.
Yeah,
we need to get him to give us picks because we nailed his picks.
Yeah, the last one. This is difficult here though. Michigan minus 22.
Dude, you just can't fucking take Iowa. You can't.
I know you can't, but Grant can.
I think he would take Michigan.
Okay. So Grant's
we can 50-50 the split.
I like it. I like it. I think that's a good show. I think we're done.
No sane person can be like, who I like this weekend is the Hawkeyes. Like you can't.
I know it's 22 points, a lot of points.
You can talk yourself into Bama. I could talk myself into Washington, Oklahoma State. Hell, I could talk myself into New Mexico State catching 11, but I can't talk myself into laying 22 or getting 22 with Iowa.
What do we have right there at the Tulane SMU game? What's that line?
3.5 to Tulane. I've
Yeah,
watched
I think you got to bet Tulane there.
Yeah, I've watched 0 snaps of both of these. Jared Small apparently a stud at Tulane.
Wow. Called
Yeah, I
that.
saw Shay tweeted something about like how he's like been a stud there, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a name I completely forgot about.
Called that. All right. Well, good show.
It's been fun.
See y'all after I don't know. Maybe not next week. I'm going to be in New York.
Big Apple.
Going to the Big Apple, doing a little Christmas vacation situation, but I might stop in for the Heisman ceremony.
Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah, I think I might just gonna like linger. Like I feel like I've seen so many like I'm not getting a table. I'm not like buying my way into the place. I want to like be at the city hall, at the Radio Music City Hall when they're walking through, or it's at a hotel or something where like they're
maybe Radio City Music Hall is where they do the draft. They used to do the draft. Maybe I'm mistaken.
It's at a hotel, but I think in the lobby there's always like fans and shit that kind of are like, go Jaden. Like I'm gonna do that shit.
I feel like it's been a decade outside of the Joe Burrow one, but didn't they used to like do an interview like in the street afterwards?
Yeah,
like,
Times Square.
Like, that'd be nice if you were like thick into that.
Just
like
fucking
Bo Nix raising the Heisman, and you got your like
LSU. I'm gonna have LSU shit on, and I'll fucking try to get in there. I'm gonna go. We don't have a lot of plans for that night, except like the hotel's gonna be right next to it, so I might just fucking why not?
Just drop a bunch of water balloons out on people and get kicked out.
I got to think of something.
Balloons, obviously.
So we might not have a pod next week, but after the Heisman ceremony, maybe we'll regroup the following week. We'll see.
All right, over and out, boys.